Okay, good morning, everybody. This is that kind of moment where it says it's preparing to go live, so I don't actually know whether you can hear me not or yet. So
I'm just going to sit here and smile like a pro.
just smile a bit randomly. So good morning. It looks like we are now live. Lovely to see you all on this Thursday morning. And in fact, we've decided to name it Thursday because there's always something happening in the hub on a Thursday, whether it's a webinar with fantastic or coffee break with a group of fantastic people. Either way, Thursdays are fantastic.
I love a good portmanteau. It's wonderful.
So today we are joined by the wonderful, fantastic, amazing Harry Waters. Yeah, you. So this is Harry's second time in the hub. He joined us back in January with some great games for the online classroom, which is available. If you look in the videos, you can rewatch that. There's lots of good ideas there. And now today he's going to chat to us about putting a renewable twist on our TEFL classes. So first of all, I mean, Harry, we've known each other now probably for about 7 years. And when we first met, it was you doing a phonology talk. Where did this real passion for renewable English come from?
Oh, that's a very good question. I could probably talk to you for an hour about this. I won't though. So yeah, we did actually. You were the first person to invite me to speak at a conference, so not one that I'd actually ever spoken at. So I was at Athea. You saw me there, and then I came down to TEFL del Sur, and we talked about stripping, which was all about pronunciation, obviously. I was already kind of eco-minded at that stage, but I was eco-minded, and I wasn't a new teacher. I'd been teaching for 7 years by then, I think. So, but yeah, I got really sick when I came to Spain, and it kind of woke me up to a lot of things. I was like, I should probably treat people better, and be nicer, and also take better care of the planet. So from then, I was like making improvements to my own behavior and stuff like that. But it wasn't until probably my daughter was born that it was like, I really should be doing more about this, not just, recycling and buying secondhand clothes, but maybe trying to help other people do it. And then in 2016 or 17, I get mixed up, I started working in a school, and it was not fantastic in terms of sustainability. It was, yeah, really not great in terms of sustainability. There was no recycling. AC was on all day, and I realized in that moment that I had access to 600 young minds that I could shape and mold and do with as I chose. So we didn't only talk about flags. We did talk about flags quite a lot because I love flags, but I kind of got them involved with also teaching them about what they can do, but also telling them, look, if you guys say something to the school, if you guys speak up and say, the very least we could do is have a waste paper recycling bin in the classroom. Like, we need to do something. We need to have recycling bins, So then the students started speaking up, and then obviously they told their parents, and their parents were the paying customers of the school. So then they started speaking up as well, and suddenly you could see this kind of group collective thing working together for a much bigger goal, and that's where it was really born, the whole trying to get sustainability into the classroom. Then I went away from teaching for a year. I worked as an ELT consultant, and then COVID happened, and I suddenly had time on my hands. And I was like, oh, what could I do with this time? I could do something that I've been planning to do for a very long time. So in September, I put a question out in ELT Footprint, the wonderful, amazing ELT Footprint. I believe you answered to that one of the names should be Renewable English, where you were one of the people that answered in the vote for Renewable English. So its name was born, and by the time I'd done that, I was like, I need to do something now. So it kind of gave me the push to get started, and I just the idea was to be able to reach as many people as possible and start with kind of this positive message of what we can do on a small scale. Renewable English has this, the idea of it is that it's going to grow. And I mentioned this in a coffee break last week, I think, that it starts out like with anyone's journey to sustainability. It starts out with yourself, making your own changes and seeing the small things that you can do. And everybody, you know, you see all these memes everywhere saying, you know, we don't need 1,000 perfect environmentalists, we need millions of imperfect environmentalists. You know, that whole idea that we can do that. And that's great, we do need that. That's something that's absolutely vital. But I want to evolve it like I did with the kids at school. And I want to help students find their voice. I want to help students see the idea of collective action, because yes, we can all make small changes, but unless we're striving to make big changes as well, then we probably won't achieve all that much. You know, we'll put a dent in it, you know, but even when there was no air traffic during COVID, there's still vast amounts of pollution that's going out there. So, you know, there are all these different things. So trying to basically encourage people first to see changes in themselves, and then changes they can make together with other people. And something we're doing in the park this Saturday, actually, anyone who's in Sevilla, we're doing a kind of workshop about litter and plastic and recycling, and that you don't only recycle plastic. It's not only the things that go in the bins, there's other things too. And then we're doing a cuentos, storytelling of Greta and the Giant. And it is that whole idea of young people. Generally, one voice isn't going to be heard. You know, if one kid's just saying, teacher, 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 you don't always hear as much. But if the whole class is screaming, teacher, 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 then you hear it. So, yeah, it would be nice if everybody had a voice of Greta, but not everybody does yet. They need to start somewhere. So that's a short version of it, I think.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I love the what you're doing this Saturday. I saw a similar thing happening up in Barcelona, but I think theirs was about like closing off the streets and doing environmental activities like flower weaving or leaf weaving they were doing or something. I saw, I think Ellen, who's in this group, she probably knows more about it because she was there. I just saw it on Twitter. But, you know, like you say, kind of getting young people involved and showing them the fun side of things as well.
Yeah, not everybody's going to want to be an environmentalist. Like, you're not going to get 30 students in your class who want to do that. You're not going to get 30 students in your class who support Barcelona. You're not going to get, if you can get 5, then that's good. That's 5 more than there were before you started. That's 5 more people. Again, it's those small steps. Sorry, I keep looking to try and connect on Facebook, but I've gone somewhere. I've gone wrong. So I don't know who's here. I can't see any chat. So hi everybody. Thanks for joining. Sorry I haven't been in the chat, but yeah. So that's that.
I mean, you are chatting, so you know you can't be expected to multitask too much.
So if I would like to quickly ask something before we do continue, if that's all right. I just want everyone to I need to go this side, don't I? Just tell me how you're feeling today by a number in the chat box. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. T's going to say something, and I'm going to see if I can connect on Facebook, which
I love these sort of activities. I've seen so many of them popping up, and I think that they're a great way to kind of start the lesson with our students as well. You know, whether it's cats or I've seen Hugh Jackman ones, probably Baby Yoda's been around somewhere, you know, so you can kind of nominate a student to create one for the lesson as well. That's a good way to learn a choice, get your students involved and get them showing what their passions are as well.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
Harry, what number would you be today?
Today, I tell you what, I am probably, as usual, somewhere between 3 and 6. Probably more 6 at the moment. I think by about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'll be somewhere like 3. So yeah.
And is number 9 having a shot of tequila?
Yeah, I think it's a bit sad.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe his team just lost, and he thinks that football is more important than anything else in the world. So he sits there, ruining the fact that Messi didn't equalise. or something, other words. So there we go. So we've got 8 or 9, we've got a 3, we've got 2 and a 6. Nice.
Awesome.
I logged on, I managed to connect. Look at that. I'm some kind of tech whiz. I am going to flick up the website for anyone who wants to see it as well. T's got links that she may or may not post.
Yep, I can post links.
We've got some YouTube bits as well. I feel that's where everything goes. We'll talk more about that. And then there's all the social media, which I put over there for some reason. And now I can't move. There we go. It's back in place. So there we go. And so that's a brief introduction. I say brief, only 11 minutes, not too bad. So T, what's next on the agenda?
Well, you shared a link to quite a fun Mentimeter.
I did. Introduction, then Menti. So
Menti, yeah.
If you could connect that, that would be awesome.
I will, yep, I'll share that link as well.
And then I'll share the screen as well too, so we can all see what everybody's saying and thinking. I'm just going to switch my camera.
Yep, so the link for the Menti is in the chat if you want to come along and
oh, I need to put it on the right one. I think we're all going to be going to the second one at the moment because I've opened it wrong because I'm silly. So it's basically talking about going off topic. So if you'd like to chuck your answer in the Menti, we can see how often you go off topic in class. How often would you say you go off topic, T?
I'm just reading through the answers. I like Tangent Tony. I have to admit, I think I try to stay on topic as much as possible. I think I've got that kind of must get through the plan brain when I go into my class. But I do like the odd tangent.
So somewhere between sometimes and most lessons?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And I think
can see that everybody voting today is in the same boat.
Yeah, I think there's always that danger of kind of is the tangent of my choosing that kind of, is it quality teacher talking time, or is it just me going off on one?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I've learned to take myself down from every lesson to only most lessons. And I try and make sure it isn't only me tangenting. I try and make sure there are students who are tangenting and we take their tangents to their trajectory. There we go. There's most lessons, I think we're saying here, and then sometimes, but yeah, there aren't many really strict people who stick solely to the lesson plan, which is nice because I don't think you ever want to just solely stick to that unless you've added in your tangents just in case. But I don't know how many people do that. So right, I'm going to switch my camera back, but I can't open that screen, which is super fun. So I'll stay on this one for a minute and I'll stop sharing. There we go. I'm back again. So yeah, those tangents are kind of a way of helping your students express themselves. What I like to try and do is encourage my students' tangents to be something eco-related. Most of my classes are eco-related at the moment, I'll be honest, particularly now it's towards the end of the year. Even my real classes, I don't know if I should call them that, but yeah, so my kids class and my teens and my adults, they've all come pretty much now to sustainability because we've done our assessments. Luckily, they're all my classes. I don't work for anyone in particular, so I don't have the strict, you have to do exams and stuff like that. I've done various assessments. I've assessed them throughout the year, but now it's just, let's go full on sustainable crazy. So what I'm going to do now, if it's okay, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go away from here because nobody wants double me, let's be honest. No one wants to see that. And here are some objections. Now, these are objections that I've had from other teachers. those of you who saw the webinar with Kerry and Catherine a while back in ELT Footprint will have seen something similar. And I think yesterday, Catherine printed the blog, which there is a link for, which will appear here very soon, all about the different objections and how to get around them. So I'm going to ask you to have a quick look at these, have a quick read through. You can all read, so I'll let you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, yeah, I can kind of agree, apart from the last one, because I don't really teach. The only class I've got at the moment is adults, and they all have their cameras turned off, so I can't see if their eyes are rolling or not. But yeah, certainly the kind of the top three I can relate to.
Yeah. Yeah, the second one as well is one that's kind of related to the tangents. You know, I'm too busy, we have exams. It's one of my favorite things here is you can always find time. So instead of your tangent being something else, try and take it to a sustainable tangent, or maybe just allot 5 minutes at the end of every class is a good idea there to have like your sustainable reflection, some mindfulness maybe about what approaches people are taking. If you guys can go back to the Menti, I want you to tell me your favorite excuse. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to tell me your favorite excuse. I'll get rid of those and I'll go back to full Harry. There we go. That's better. Now you can see my telescope. It's very small. It's my daughter's.
You might need to change the slide, I think it's saying.
Is it not presenting on the right slide? That's silly of me. How's that?
Oh, yeah, that is.
There
yeah.
we go. So what is your favorite excuse? I will share the screen again.
I like this because this came up when we were chatting to Dan last month about like the similar topic, this idea of kind of eco-anxiety, because he said that it seemed from research that it's something that students and teachers actually want. But I think there is a degree of kind of, we're all going to die and there's nothing we can do about it at the same time.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I've got actually written down to speak about next, avoiding eco-anxiety. Okay, so we all have fairly different ideas. I say we three have fairly different ideas. I'm glad that nobody's chosen I'm not an expert, because that one makes me really angry. I'm not an expert in a lot of things, but I still teach them. I didn't know what a past participle was till I was 23. But as Seneca says, while teaching we learn. So in fact, I'm just going to put that there. While we teach we learn. Just drop it up on the screen. So yeah, that's not really an excuse for me. So anyone who says that, that's something that makes me a bit more angry. Students find it boring. Now, quick question. I'm going to stop sharing this because we've obviously got like a clear view of our problems. They're fairly even. So the next one was students find it boring. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is vexillology? What is vexillology?
Oh.
Anyone tell me what vexillology is?
The study of something, and I would be tempted to say flags because I know you love flags, but I don't think it is. Is it?
It is the study of flags. So nobody really, you know, who loves flags? Hands up if you love flags. I don't see any hands. Oh, you love flags? Good. I think they're really interesting, but a lot of people find them boring. People often compare me to Sheldon, but I liked them before Sheldon did in The Big Bang Theory, although he is my birthday twin, Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon. Great birthday, March 24th. But vexillology is something nobody really knows anything about, and students probably find flags really boring. But if you speak to any of my students from about back when I met T and probably the 4 or 5 years afterwards, all the way from kids up to adults, they all know what vexillology is. They all know about a whole bunch of different flags. They know what the canton is. They know, so they know all of these different things. Vexillology isn't interesting. Bridges aren't interesting, but I love them. So when you show your passion for something, the students share with that passion. And it's something that I'm going to link now to eco-anxiety, as we mentioned before. Now, eco-anxiety is real. I get it a lot, like a lot, when I see the awful things that are happening. The obvious way to focus this is to look at the positive things that are happening. One thing I do with my daughter, anyone who follows me or has seen any of my nonsense on Instagram will see that with my daughter, every 2 weeks we go to a meeting for Kids Against Plastic, and you just see what other young people are doing. Now, with young people and teens and stuff like that, I think it's so important to show them these other amazing people in the world. Now, I didn't get any links of good people to follow, but I'll talk about that and I'll post them in the chat later. It's so important to see what these people are doing, but also for teens, what I've found with the recent Renewable English on the road, the thing that they've been really interested in is just how many followers these activists have. Now, I know it's like that kind of selfish side of things that you don't really want to be encouraging. You want to be encouraging them to do it because they want to save the planet. But yeah, when they see that, they're like, oh, maybe that is worth getting into. So maybe there is that selfish side to it as well. But what I've noticed with these young activists, so Amy Meek from Kids Against Plastic is someone we get on really well with. Sarah Goody, who founded Climate Now. These are people that started learning about climate change 5 or 6 years ago when they were 11 or 12. So they found their passion and they had a real passion for it. And, you know, your passion always drives you. What you love is what you're going to like pay attention to. So they are doing it not for the followers. They're not doing it for the adulation. They're doing it because they genuinely want to help. Right? And you can see that they're humble, they're passionate. You can see it in their work, and it's amazing to see. I'm quite jealous because when I was 17, I knew that I should recycle cans because Blue Peter taught us that with the magnet thing back when I was 7 or 8 at school. So yeah, I knew I should do that, but they're so positive with the way they go about it. But another thing with eco-anxiety is I like to tell my students, I'm not sure, again, it's not necessarily something you should entirely promote, but don't get sad, get angry. The two things that I've found really drive people are things that they love and things that they hate. What have the biggest protests been about recently in England? I'll tell you, in England, the biggest protest was about the Super League in football. That the teams shouldn't be joining the Super League, and there were protests, and they shut down a football match because people broke in. I don't like to constantly use this sport analogy, but it seems that everybody loves sport more than anything else. And with the Euros coming up as well, 3 Lions and other teams that could win. Go other teams as well. Just kick a goal. I used to be obsessed with football, not so much anymore. But yeah, something you can really see in like football fans is the love and the hate. When you watch, I don't know, Manchester United versus Liverpool, they hate each other. So when a football fan, the team that wins, they're happy because the team that they love won and the team that they hate lost. So that's what I kind of try and teach to my students, that you should love the planet and you should, hate's a strong word, but strongly dislike things that are bad for the planet, but not punish yourself when you do things wrong. So I'm not perfect. I may have a perfect beard, mostly thanks to this lovely comb that I like to tend to my beard with. But other than that, in terms of environmental, there are still single-use plastics that I have. I'll go to the supermarket. I like to buy my veg from the local fruit shop, but they don't ever have green sprouting broccoli. I love green sprouting broccoli, so sometimes I buy it. I love eggs. I'm not quite vegan. I'm trying, but I love eggs. So I've tried to source like sustainable eggs. There's a man down the road. I live in a village, so he brings me eggs in a bucket that we use every week. But if I had to buy eggs, I'd buy eggs. I love eggs. I know how bad the industry is as well. So there's that like anxiety on top of it as well. So there's that kind of side of it too, not just the whole panic of, oh no, we're all going to die. And I've mentioned this before about textbooks, and one of the big reasons behind starting Renewable English was the way textbooks address climate change. And it creates two of those things. It creates eco-anxiety and it creates boredom. Because it gets to that stage and they all go, oh, the ice caps are melting. Oh, we need to recycle. And it's kind of that repetitive doom mongering that isn't going to help anyone. So what we need to do is show them that it can be fun. Like, protesting, making signs, that stuff's fun. It's really good. It's great collective action. I remember when I was a kid, my parents took me on miners' strikes, and I was there with the megaphone at the front saying SHIT out loud as a 7-year-old and telling the government to keep their hand off our pits. And it just gave me this amazing sense of the fact I was doing something. So a way to ease your eco-anxiety is to do something. You can't do everything, but do something. And yeah, don't punish yourself. Like, it's useless to punish yourself. You won't get anywhere. It's like worrying. You can't save anything by worrying. You can save stuff by your actions. So yeah, I did a bit of a tangent, Tony, there, but I guess it's kind of a roundabout sort of thing. Do you have anything to direct me with, or would you like me to continue?
No, you can feel free to carry on. There's been some interesting chat around vexillology, bit of a divide about flags. So.
Oh, right, I'm going to see if I've got any books I can lend you. I have got books I can lend you. I've got a really good one, Discover Flags, which is like a soft cover as well. Really nice. Yeah, flags are cool, I promise. So yeah, that's like the kind of basis behind where everything started and the reasons for why we should teach sustainably, I guess. I know that sustainability does have other meanings as well, financial sustainability. It has kind of become very attached to eco-sustainability. So when I say that, that's how I mean it. Something else that's really great that's become a trending topic recently, I guess, is the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN. They've been around for 5 years, but that's a really great way for you at the start of the year to have a look through your book and kind of think, where can I relate this to this? And that way you can have your 5 minutes in class. It doesn't have to necessarily be about the planet. We're teachers and we have such a profound effect on our students, such an enormous effect. And if you can show them like how to be passionate, about no poverty, about no hunger, gender equality, all of these different things are super important. So if you don't want to just talk about sustainability, then you can kind of take that, Sustainable Development Goals route and look at it, and it has other social justice issues, and having those 17 things and your textbook at the start of the year, really good thing to do. This is really strong advice I have to say. At the start of the year, if you want to get these things into your class, just flick through and have a look at how each of these units or each of these lessons even affect the SDGs. I think within a couple of years, most textbooks are going to have that tagging. They have like the can-do statements. I think most of them will have it because it will be a really easy way for publishers to say, look, we're dealing with it. I'm not going to say greenwashing, but we can think about that. It's a great way for you to kind of direct your students in that way, and not only focus on environmental sustainability, because there are other issues in the world. So it's not only eco-anxiety they also have social justice anxiety, which is another thing to add. But they're the people that can make the changes. So we need to be helping our students, trying to open as many minds as possible. So my first big tip is that look at your book. How does this affect, let's say, climate? The fashion unit, you look at it, it's so easy to go online and find things about fashion that are not great for the planet. I mean, you could go to renewableenglish.com. There's a fashion lesson where you can play directly from renewableenglish.com. I'm just going to share the screen and show you renewableenglish.com because I have that power. So you could just go here, and this also answers the whole materials thing. You could go here.
We're still on your oh no, yep, now we're there.
There we go. So we could go in here, we could look through the lessons and materials, and we can relate this to our books. So this is an easy way for you to do it. You know, so you're looking, home, or we can talk about these kind of things, and the water, we can talk about electricity, food. There's always a food section. Food is absolutely destroying the planet. It's terrible, and it's the easiest thing for you to change, especially food waste. Lesson 4, brilliant. Then shopping, we always have things about shopping. So it's really easy, not just with Renewable English. Obviously, there is a whole host of materials out there. ELT Sustainable is incredible. Absolutely love it. So many materials on there. I used them previously before I was making my own. So this does also answer the whole making materials. They're all there. They're all made. And how long do you spend on, I don't know, ESL printables? I used to spend hours on there looking through to find the right one. And then I'll find it, I download it, and I change it so it looked like my work anyway. So I'd spend 2 hours going through it, when there are free options online. There are plenty of free options. And yeah, when you're at the start of your class, just do that. Just at the start of the year, just look at what they are, the options, and then go through there. So as I said, there are plenty of free options, Renewable English included. If you'd like to donate, you can go to this link here. Oh, wow, I've never done like a sales talk before. It feels so dirty. I apologize. That was horrible. So cheesy. So that's one of the things. That's my big key. And you know, we all want a better place, a better world. So awakening the beast inside our students to help them towards being an environmental activist is a good idea. But first, we need to listen to them. We need to listen to them to show that they are listened to. If we don't listen to our students, we can't empower them. So if they come to talk to you, listen to what they've got to say and do something about it, even if they're 7. I really love Pokemon. Great. The next class is about Pokemon. Fantastic. But once we've empowered them, we can show them they can make a difference. If a student asks you for a Pokemon class and you do it, they can see that they can make a difference. So it's all about showing them and empowering them and stuff like that. Another super fun thing to do in class. So now the practical tips, something Harry's famous for in his talks, talking a lot and practical tips. The first one is poetry. Write a haiku. I know T knows about this. This was in one of the Renewable English live lessons, the one that was all about water waste, with our good friend, the word guerrilla, or gorilla, as you would say it. He's a poet and a mindfulness coach, and he goes around schools and does poetry with them and shows them how poetry can really help. Just do some little haikus with your students. You can create a haiku for every unit, and then they can see how that links to sustainability. There are so many ways you can find that link, and there are so many things you don't do in your course book. So just don't do one more activity and spend those 5 minutes writing a haiku. Haikus don't usually have a title, but one of the students gave that the advice of that being our title, so we took it. This pair of blue jeans cost 7,000 litres, but I look so good. And it's that whole thing of it's not climate change that's killing the planet, it's selfishness, not only on a personal level, but also on a much higher level as well. And if we're not buying the jeans, they won't make them. So charity shops, brilliant. Vinted online is brilliant. It's amazing. And that usually you can get the good designer jeans that, you know, they cost their 7,000 litres, but they've been worn for a few years. Someone else has given them to you. They've been pre-loved. Love that phrase. And if you have to, you can fix them. I'm learning how to sew at the moment. I'm a bit rubbish, but I'm learning to try. I can fix holes and I can sew on buttons but I can't quite make my own garments yet. I might be able to make a towel or something. Easy, just sew 2 towels together probably.
I have to say, I love this year how my clothes are just lasting so much longer. Like there's no wear and tear and stuff, which is
great. Yeah, it's really good.
The wallet.
Yeah, it is. And people always say, sustainable fashion is more expensive. But if you're going to high-end fashion stores buying brand new clothes, it is. It's way more expensive. It will last longer. But, if you're going into the fast fashion places, then there's 52 different looks every year. They're changing almost weekly in these places, and they can't be selling all those clothes. So what's happening to them? They've been produced and then they're going to, maybe they're being recycled. Wonderful, that would be great. Maybe they're going to landfill. Maybe they're going to a charity, which would be incredible. Would be a wonderful way to use it. But I did see in one case with Burberry, I am going to name and shame, they burnt £1 million worth of clothes because they hadn't sold them. They burnt them. That's not cool, Burberry. Not cool. Perfume doesn't smell that nice either. Personal opinion. So that's one of the things. Haikus and poetry can be really fun. And it's a great way of playing with language as well. Another thing.
I'm going to do a quick plug. Because in a couple of months' time, we're going to have a poetry in the classroom webinar. So that's coming up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love poetry. Brilliant. Brilliant. I have a bit of a problem with it though. Whenever I read a Julia Donaldson book with my daughter, afterwards for the next 3 hours, I'm speaking as if I am a Julia Donaldson book. So I guess it gets quite annoying, and I can speak a lot in 3 hours. So yeah, my wife is a saint. She's an absolute saint. Don't know. So that's one key thing that we can do. Another thing is teach buzzwords. Like, go with it. Teach these buzzwords, because they're the things that they're going to be seeing popping up all over Instagram. The amazing, wonderful, inspirational Daniel Barber introduced us to greenwashing last week, or he mentioned it. Yeah, things like that are always on Instagram. He also mentioned that the language of protest is English. So these are the buzzwords that are coming out on every Instagram account that's mildly sustainable. You've got your greenwashing, your carbon footprint, your compostable, sustainability, like all of these different things that you look at and you think, what is that? Like, I was trying to explain to Alethea today, like my daughter, it's brilliant. It's so much fun having her, that she is interested in it. I'm guessing it's like the passion wearing off on her, the apple not falling far from the tree and that. And yeah, we were talking about biodegradable and compostable and stuff like that. And we were going through those different things, upcycle, zero waste. Like, these are things that they're going to hear all the time, but you're not going to know what they are automatically. If you're a language learner, especially kind of lower levels, even microplastic, depending on what their language is, they're not going to know what it is. Single-use plastic, it's fairly self-explanatory, but it needs to be explained. So, getting those keywords in there is really important. Stuff like greenwashing. Another one I saw when I was watching Seaspiracy was blue washing, which is basically the same, but so it's when they put this has been sustainably fished, but there's no such thing because they don't actually have any checks on it, and what they really do is just pay for the sticker. So there's something we can campaign about. Get your signs at the ready. In fact, in my last class, I'm going to show you this now. I'm going to share my screen again. This is another activity that I did. Terrible activity. Here's another activity that I did in my class with my 7-year-olds. I'm just going to click across here to my reels. I hope I'm sharing sound.
Yep. Oh.
Let's have a look. I'll put it on.
To get to my taxi, man in a tracksuit attacks me. He says that he saw it before me. Who wants to get things a bit gory?
So there's that. Things like that. This is for the storytelling at the weekend, but you can just do it for a fun project. What would you make for your sign? How would, would it be a No Planet B? It's the most common one, but it's also the most fun to do, and it makes loads of sense. So yeah, that kind of thing in class is great with all ages. Everybody loves making a sign. I can't wait to make a little one that I'm going to admit I'm copying it from the internet. To save paper, make smaller signs is going to be one of my favorites. So I think that'll be in there as well. So yeah, there's another fun activity you can do with your students, and it involves storytelling or reading a book or reading an article. Something you mentioned in the Wednesday question was about making exams more interesting, and there was a lot of talk about students creating their own exams. Great, love it. Do it with sustainable articles. Get students to find the articles, get students to find a podcast and take a 3-minute excerpt from it. Get them, it's such an easy way to kind of flip the classroom. And it's really fun. And it has that double effect that they're learning about sustainability, they're really paying attention to it, and they're learning about what's in the exam, what's examined in the exam. And it's a bit of fun. And even better, you don't have to make the materials. There you go. You can peer review, check each other's, make sure it's right, make sure it's okay. Bam, there you go. Nothing better than materials being made for you. Absolutely love it. So thanks to all those wonderful materials writers out there. So they're kind of the main few. And then I think it is things like that with projects. What we really need to do are encourage projects, and you can do this however you like throughout the year. I've done quite a lot, obviously, but when you get to certain units in the book, with my classes, I haven't been using books. Well, no, I've been using books, plural. I've been picking and choosing because I have that freedom, which is nice. But yeah, when I do use one of the units in the book, if I do, then I'll make a sustainable project out of it. Also, this time of year, students are just finishing their exams, and we've usually got that kind of 2 weeks of just nothingness afterwards. And it's like, we've watched everything on Netflix already, and the parents aren't really very impressed with endless Netflix. What can I do? Do an eco project. Ask them to say their favorite lesson from the year, go back and look at it, and turn something into an eco project. So, but what kind of eco project could we do? Well, I've got a few ideas. With your young learners, I'm going to be 1 second, okay? Talk amongst yourselves. You can do an upcycling project. I'm going to shout so you can still hear me. So you can take a piece of trash or plastic or anything, and you can upcycle it into something way cooler, and you can all go to the moon. Woohoo!
I love doing that as a kid as well.
It's
things at school.
It's the latest from Tesla. It's electric, solar power, obviously. When it goes into space, it's a lot closer to the sun, so it doesn't use any of those horrible fumes. It's been on some journeys. It's flown me to the moon and back, as Savage Garden once sang. So yeah, and you can do so much with these kind of things. So you've got the crafty kind of projects that you can do with them, with the younger ones. You can make anything. You can make a toy, like mazes are really fun to make, our shoe boxes, anything. You can make anything. Even Bebe, the uncreative one, can make a ball of tin foil and say it's a tennis ball. You can do anything. So that kind of thing. Also, recycling projects. So different things that you can and can't recycle. A really good way of getting them involved in that. That's one thing we'll be doing on Saturday. You can do litter pick challenges, which is really good. They can come into school on the way to school. They can do a litter pick on the way in. Again, anyone who's ever seen me on Instagram will have seen me do it every day. Is it a tireless task? It is a bit. I love litter picking. And as Patrick Johnson, I was speaking to from Picker Pals, he likened it to a gateway drug to sustainability. And it kind of is. I really like that because it's a great way to get kids started. In fact, I took the my class out, my amazing class, who were making the signs. I took them out and we did a litter pick in the park. Things like that. Do a litter pick at school. I remember when I was younger, and we had to do it when we'd been naughty. We had to go around and like, oh, now you have to clean up the litter. And looking back at it, I think that's a rubbish idea. We should have been like, okay, the beaver team have to have collected 15 pieces of litter, and you know, and it just, that kind of encourages kids as well to actually put their rubbish in the bin, and maybe schools to start recycling bins and stuff like that. And if you're doing it in your class, then if you're in an academy, then they'll take it to their class at school. So litter picks are a brilliant thing to do. And you can, I don't know if you're allowed to take your students anywhere, depending on whether you're allowed to, but yeah, just on the way to school is a good one. Older students as well, you can do it. Get them to make a reel for Instagram. Might show you another one because I can, and I've got one. I don't know if it gets another view for that one up there. That's the problem. That's the thing I really hate about all this nonsense. I'm so obsessed with how many people view my stuff. It's ridiculous.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning.
So that kind of thing, it's a super fun, it's a new word. It's a super fun project for especially for your teens to do. It doesn't have to be litter picking. They can even do the upcycling thing, but making it Insta-y or TikTok-y. I'm not anywhere near the world of TikTok yet. It's something I've been told by many people I should be doing. I have enough time keeping up with everything. It's tough. But yeah, for students to do that kind of thing on TikTok, again, you can show them how many views and likes other people's ones have got, and they'll be like, you can show them the hashtags. So there you're using that vocabulary again. They're putting their hashtags in there. You can link it to SDGs as well, Sustainable Development Goals, all of these different things. Just so they're really, they're really motivational. Another project that I see as being really difficult here in Spain is a clothes swap. Asking students to swap clothes. Asking a Spanish person to put something secondhand on in the first place is pretty difficult. It's not something that people really like in Spain. Secondhand clothes, they're like, oh, but that's dirty. Washing machine didn't do anything to it then, did it? All that detergent you put on it. So why do you ever wear a pair of underwear more than once? What a rubbish excuse. Someone else has worn it. I don't care. It's been washed. That's a terrible, it's not like you're in a bar and you get a glass where it's got the lipstick mark on it. You're like, well, can you wash this again, please? In a bar, you drink from a glass that 1,000 people have drunk from, but you won't wear someone else's washed shirt. Nonsense. So a clothes swap amongst kids is a great idea. What we do with Alicia, she's the biggest of all of her friends, so it's more a clothes give in her case, because she doesn't have many things she can get back because she is a bit bigger. She does have one friend that's handed a few things down, but so she'll give her clothes to her friends, and her friends have 3 other sisters. So there's a t-shirt that I saw pop up in a memory from a few years ago that Alicia was wearing that is now at the 3rd sister in her friend's family. So she's passed it to her best friend Mila, who's passed on to her sister Annie, who's now passed on to her sister Laura, who will then pass on to Lucia. And it's just like, that's what we need to be doing and encouraging in our students. If they don't want to do a clothes swap, do a book swap. Swap books. Don't always buy new books. My daughter came home devastated yesterday. She's like, Inez and Eva won't let me play because I don't have the Anna Kadabra book. Can we buy it? And I was like, well, I'm happy to get you any book. She's got endless books. My parents are also obsessed with books. So we have more books than she can read. We've got lots of summer projects on, and she's kind of started her own lending library. She has so many things that she lends to her other bilingual friends to help them learn how to read in English, because they're not, their parents aren't as obsessive about reading as we are, I don't think. So she's kind of lending those out. But she was devastated because she didn't have this book, but one of her best friends does have it. And I said, why don't you just swap and then you can read it? And I also said, if those people are saying you can't play because you don't have the book, probably better not to play with those people anyway. Play the games with other people, but people are excluding you for something that you don't have. Explain to them that that's not very nice and that it doesn't make you feel very nice. And if they continue to act like that, maybe play with somebody else who's not quite so horrible. So that was my parenting advice for the day yesterday. Breaks your heart when your kids are sad. So yeah, that's another one. Then a planet cooler is a good idea. Obviously the planet is heating up, but we also have warmers and coolers in class. So at the end of your lesson, you can introduce a planet cooler where you can, give ideas of what students can do to help the planet, and depending what stage you're at with them in their evolution. Again, kind of like Pokemon, aren't they? They go from litter pickers to Greta. That's the dream, isn't it? Every student could be like that and have their voice heard like that would be amazing. So yeah, the kind of planet cooler at the end of the class is a great idea. Just 5 minutes of sharing what kids have done that week, even the bad things that they've done. Oh, this week I ate meat every day. You're not in control of that. Your parents cook for you, but you know what? You could go home to your parents. If my daughter came home and said, Dad, can we have a meat-free meal today? I'd be open to it. Again, depends on the parents. In Spain in particular, if you suggest not eating meat, you get laughed at. I mentioned some delicious lentils I ate recently that didn't have chorizo. I was in my on the road session, and the class were just like, pero cómo funciona esa? How does that work? How can you have lentils without chorizo? I was like, well, you just don't put it in. Something my brother, who's a chef, was actually talking about. What he does in his restaurants now is, instead of people having to say, I'll have the salmorejo without the egg and the ham, on the menu it comes without it, and you have to say, can I have it with it, please? And it's that whole thing of just thinking about it, rather than getting it and going, oh, I have to pick it out, or it's the whole thing of thinking, do I actually want that? So that is another one of the key steps for your students, to get that in their mind, that do I want it, or do I need it? What's the difference? Yes, I really do want that Super Zing that's wrapped in plastic and made of plastic, and I'll play with for a few weeks and then get bored of. Do I need it? Probably not. And that's probably the most difficult challenge, certainly that I'm having with my students, but also with Ali. I'm wary of the time. Another thing is charts. Charts are awesome. So in your class, have charts of, I don't know, maybe how many students brought their snack in reusable Tupperware. And you can have challenges within the class or outside the class. How many students ate a piece of fruit today? How many students didn't have an industrially made, sugar-packed, disgusting mess of deliciousness that we know we shouldn't eat, but they taste so good? So occasionally, you have one and then you feel guilty, but you shouldn't feel guilty. But anyway, so that kind of challenge, also with the litter picking, put it up there. I don't have behavior charts in my classrooms anymore. I know there's debate about whether you should have them or not. I don't have behavior charts. I have sustainable charts in my classes, and the different sustainable things that we've achieved and the goals that we're aiming towards. And yeah, that kind of, the thermometer thing that they do for raising money, where they have so that kind of thing really works when you're looking to achieve a certain target. You're looking to achieve the whole class coming in with an apple, or 50% of the class. So those kind of things are much more motivating to the students. And I don't like behavior charts and points and stuff like that anymore. I used to love it as a classroom management system. I don't like punishing students for taking points away and stuff. I know they have their benefits. Yeah, it's a different topic. It's a different subject. I'm going to stop now because there's 5 minutes left.
There has been some fab messaging in the chat. In the chat as well. So there was a comment earlier about this idea of, you know, sharing your passion, sharing. We leave a deep impression on our students in so many ways. It's really quite a big responsibility when you think about it. The topics we choose to teach, the energy we promote in the classroom, so many things to take into consideration, which was lovely.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, again, it is your passion for it that shows there. So if you have a passion for craft beer with your adults, maybe you talk about craft beer. But yeah, you talk about drinking responsibly, except occasionally when maybe not.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Couple of great links as well. There's a link here to The Minimalists. Not 100% sure what that is, but I'll put the link in the notes as well anyway. And a BBC News article about litter and kids cleaning up from BBC Newsround, which is kind of a kids news program in the UK. And then lots of chat around the idea of swap shops, like setting one up within the school. So like you were saying about books and board games and things like that, which would be fun. And also Canva being good for creating templates for those charts and getting the students to create them as well.
Canva is good for everything. I love Canva. Here we go. What did I make on Canva today? Here we go. I made this on Canva. I made this on Canva. I made that on Canva. That's from Canva. Yeah, love it. I love it. And I haven't even paid for the premium one, which it keeps telling me to do, but there's enough on there without it. It does have the added benefit that you can schedule your posts, but that would then mean me sitting down and making weeks worth of posts when it only takes me 6 minutes to do it and make it anyway. So when Renewable English is a huge business and I'm employing thousands to fight for the planet across the globe, maybe then I'll go professional. But my subscriptions are already painful enough as it is. Something a constant bugbear with me. I think T's probably heard me talk about this about 20 times.
Well, let's go back to Renewable English, because you've got classes every Thursday at the moment.
At the moment.
UTC +2, which is in 5 hours' time.
It is. So we've got this week, we've got travel and tourism. You can find them all on the page, www.renewableenglish.com. Isn't it strange that www takes longer to say than World Wide Web? So stupid, so annoying. But anyway, renewableenglish.com. You can also find it on YouTube. So this week's travel and tourism. Next week is transport. Then it's schools. And then the season finale, sounds cool, doesn't it? The lesson 12 is all about celebrations. And that is on the 24th of June. And as of next week, I will be posting things out there, because afterwards, at the end of the class, we're doing a fundraiser, something I love doing. Not for me, it's for Kids Against Plastic, because I absolutely love Kids Against Plastic. They are my favorite charity at the moment. And it's called Caps Off, like hats off, to Kids Against Plastic, which is CAP. Made a good name for that, didn't I? Didn't make a good name for my webinar today, but I did for that one. And in that lesson, some of you may have seen that I am a man approaching his middle age, and I'm frequently wearing a cap. Well, at the end of that, I'm going to take my cap off and I'm going to do the honourable thing that any balding middle-aged man should do, and I'm going to go full Simon. I'm going to shave my head live on YouTube and on Instagram. So don't miss out. And if you donate, you have a chance to win either one of my shirts or a Renewable English flag or a Kids Against Plastic flag. So there's that. Put the date in your diary, 24th. It's also the day after my daughter's birthday, so we can all sing happy birthday.
That is fabulous. That's such a great idea as well.
Yeah, it's about time. It's getting a bit embarrassing, you know, that I'm not going to show you now, because it's that bit like I've got as much hair as I have dignity at the moment. And if I take my hat off, the comb over then takes away whatever dignity I had remaining. So it's the manly, grown-up, sensible thing to do is to shave it off. And what better way to do it than live on Instagram?
So tune in on the 24th to see it live. Yeah.
There you go.
So tell us a little bit more about the renewable English lessons, because you've got Ali's top tips.
Yes.
Unfun facts, interviews.
Yeah.
What else happens in a lesson?
So we basically start with a bit of vocabulary that you're going to need for the class, because we always need to know that. Then we go through some unfun facts. This week I'm thinking of doing them live, not because I haven't been bothered to record the video yet, but because I want to take on a different persona for it, but also because I haven't recorded the video yet. So then it's the unfun facts, because you do need to see the bad things that happen in the world. With tourism, it was really hard not to just do them all about cruise ships, because they're awful. And then, we have an expert interview, which we then look at afterwards, and we answer questions on. We have true or false about the unfun facts. Then we have our planet promise at the end of the lesson, and some ideas on who might be good to follow online and stuff like that. So that's that. And I've taken more than an hour of your time. An hour and 1 minute. So I apologize, everybody.
That's great. We don't mind. These things always run over. I don't think I've ever done one of these webinars within an hour yet, because
That's all right then.
we just chat. It's great. But yeah, so that's happening. They happen at the moment every Thursday, 5 p.m. UTC +2.
Exactly.
And they're available afterwards if people don't want to watch it live.
YouTube and on the website. And all the worksheets are on the website as well. I actually made sure of that because I forgot to make one last week. That was silly. And then 75 people turned up to the lesson, and I was like, whoa, usually get about 6. It was so I made it immediately afterwards and made it available. But yeah, the worksheets are there, the teachers' materials are there. It's all there, and it's all free, because I do believe at the moment that I do have other jobs, so I can pay for a roof over my head, and I can pay for food. I do like the fact that it can be free, and education for something so important can go to the most unfortunate people, providing they have internet access, which the most unfortunate obviously don't. And yeah, I like that. Yeah, I can hopefully use it as a good platform for the future for other people. But yeah, the renewable English on the road is the bit where I will be charging money. For the rest of it, completely free for everyone. All the stuff's on Instagram as well. It's everywhere. And do join in with the challenge on Twitter. I haven't posted yet today, but I am on a bit of a campaign to get Greta to come on. I'm not sure she'll ever come on, but if she does retweet, it might be nice. So yeah, feel free to wade in on that. You can follow on Twitter. It's all I post on Twitter once a day. I'm pretty useless with it. Or if I see something nice that T's posted, I retweet that. But that's about all I do. So it is a campaign to see if she'd like to come on as a guest. I don't know if she will. But the first series finishes in June. The second one starts in September. It's all about how it works. We'll be looking at how renewable energy works. We'll be speaking to an artist who creates art out of rubbish and litter, all sorts of fun things. My goal is to go up a wind turbine. Don't know if I'll be able to, but that's a goal. And then the third one, which is going to come out in January, is all about the path to activism, when I can get to be a bit more, I don't know, lefty and shouty, which I can't really be at the moment. I think most EOT teachers can appreciate that. We mostly read The Guardian. And just a note, T did ask me beforehand, before we started this, she was like, how have you got your logo up there? And how did you put YouTube on there? And the cat's image that you can't avoid. It's on a thing called OBS, and it's basically a streaming thing, and you can use it on Zoom, and you can use it on YouTube. I think you can probably use it on Facebook as well. So yeah, it's really fun. And it means you don't have to always use a PowerPoint. I hate PowerPoints, and I use them all the time. So it's a good way of stepping back from that.
And I like that fact as well, that you can kind of have things pop up and you're still on screen as well.
Yeah, I don't like little guy. Like, little guy is really annoying. So I don't want to just be little guy in the corner. Like, who wants to be that guy? I don't. There's me. Hello, I'm hiding behind the PowerPoint. Here I am. Yes, pretty rubbish. So I tend to go full on. And then, well, you can even have two of you if you want. Woo, double me. It's a dream come true and not a nightmare for everybody else. So thank you very much. I've had a lot of fun, by the way. It's been great. I hope it's been useful and I hope you've had some nice ideas. I don't have a PowerPoint to share with you. But if you have any questions, do get in touch on any social media or email harry@renewableenglish.com. Really easy to remember. And yeah, that's it from me, I think.
Well, so the name of the site was OBS.
OBS, yeah, I'll look for it now
Yeah.
and I'll put it in the chat.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for that. Well, that was so much fun. Happy Thubs Day, everybody. Many thanks to Harry again for joining us, who's now renamed the day. I forgot to mention completely again that if you're watching this on Catch Up, if you have watched this on Catch Up, leave us a little hashtag Catch Up so that we know you're there. And yep, we'll be back next week. Next Tuesday, we've got another trainer talking time. So we'll post a poll for that. And then on Thursday, we've got our fortnightly coffee breaks. Okay, well, have a lovely day, everyone. Have a sustainable, renewable English day. And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.